Last week, I got to hear Ado live in concert, and it really was just the best. An audience full of shining lights and a stage where the most powerful and raw voice burst forth. It was absolutely incredible, and I did cry. I will tell you guys about my Ado concert experience while showing some fan art. I wasn't yet sure how I wanted the illustration to take shape, so the first thing I did is gather references, and I made a mood board with those. From there I started with a bunch of little thumbnails. I identified some key components like Ado herself, the cage, the lights, and the blue roses. I'm only using values, which I actually practiced in last week's video, and it ended up being so helpful, so go watch that video if you're an artist. Okay, Southwest flag over. I'm only using values to make sure that I prioritize the composition and clarity of the illustration instead of all the tiny details and colors. I made many thumbnails, but once I made the one with the roses in the foreground, Ado in the midground, and the cage in the background, I knew that I wanted to work with that one. The roses, as Ado has said, signifying wishes that come true. I started with figuring out the values and the colors, and then sketching it in greater detail. I was able to attend Ado's concert in Amsterdam in June 2025. I arrived in Amsterdam a couple hours before the doors opened, so I spent my time walking around, spending way more time than should have been necessary to find the venue. There were many people walking around with merch, so whenever I spotted more than one Hibana shirt at once, I knew that I was getting close. Before the doors opened, we all gathered around the venue, hundreds, thousands of people all fired up for Ado. There was this blue Santa Claus handing out merch under a bridge. It sounds very sketchy, and the police actually thought so as well. They checked it out because selling fake merch is obviously not allowed. However, he wasn't selling it, he was just giving it away. Even the police were confused by that. But after some time he was allowed to continue. From him I received these magnets matching with the Kura Kura keychain that I already owned, as well as this little blue cat. There was the reporter for Ado's official account on Instagram, and everyone happily waved at him, which was so endearing. I also got a close-up, and he showed us his internet page, struggling to find the words in English. At 6 the doors finally opened, and I spent the first half hour standing in line for merch. I got the now iconic Hibana shirt, a mystery acrylic keychain, which ended up being this one, as well as some stickers. From there I finally made it to my seat. No one was allowed to take pictures or videos, but I thought the venue and my point of view were incredible, and I just had to capture it. Since I had my sketchbook with me, I decided to do the next best thing, which is draw everything around me. I started with the stage, drawing like a madman, and I heard the man behind me say,
"That's one way around not taking pictures."
My seat was very high up to the side. This made it so I could see the Ado cage both from the front and the side. After drawing the stage and the venue, I also drew some of the spectators around me, which was really great drawing from live practice. The tiny people down in the middle were very small but very fun to draw. The English man who was sitting behind me was talking lots. Eventually he started talking with the security guard about how he used to work security when he was 15, amongst a myriad of other things. This was almost like a podcast while I just happily drew. And then the lights finally went out. The show was beginning. For the illustration, I wasn't happy with the face, so I redrew it until I was happy with it. I also struggled immensely with the hands and the hair because I'm just so rusty when it comes to drawing bigger illustrations, but I persevered. The line weight ended up being all over the place, but I just hoped that the colors would overcompensate for that, and I ended up redrawing most of the line art later. Since line art is far from my favorite, I just left it as is and continue with the base colors. From there on, it's just rendering while keeping the color harmony, values, and overall light and shadow in mind. Since Ado is still anonymous because she wants the focus to be on her music, she has her silhouette in a cage placed on the stage. However, because of my placing, which was as much to the right as physically possible, and I will never forget it, I was able to see Ado walk right into the cage right before the show started. Ah! The show started with Isewa, so we really just dove right in. She sounded incredible, just raw and powerful, confident and loud. Looking around the audience, there were thousands and thousands of tiny lights spread all throughout, every single one of them swinging along with the beat. The sight was incredible and made me shed tears just as the second song started. Everyone in the audience came here today to see this girl perform and hear her sing, every single one of them enjoying their time and swinging along. Then there was Ado herself, doing what she loves most, singing, in front of thousands upon thousands. Just thinking about what her point of view must be, it makes me tear up even now. This simple girl being able to do what she loves so much and move so many people with it, that even though she is hidden behind her cage, she must be able to see all the individual lights shining through the bars, seeing all of those people who love her and came for her to listen and enjoy music together. Throughout the show, I couldn't stop from taking a moment to close my eyes, let her amazing voice dawn on me, becoming one with it. I kept looking around the audience, seeing all the lights, seeing all the smiles, seeing everyone moving and jumping and clapping along. So many individual people sharing their love for this one singer. The stage design was incredible as well. Of course there was the cage, but behind that there was a massive screen showing off amazing pieces of animation, interwoven with the music and lyrics. There were spotlights, lasers, fires with tangible heat, and of course Hibana, the sparks, the fireworks. The musicians of the band were at the front of the cage. Despite them being far away, they were visibly full of passion while performing their craft. The bass player jumping up and down, the drummer banging her head along with the music, the guitarist walking to and fro, the fans closest to the stage standing just behind the fences waving their light sticks around and harmonizing with the music. After a song had finished, all the lights on the stage went out and all the showgoers would chant together, Ado, 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 bursting with energy and with sounds of clapping. Then the lights emerged once more and Ado's voice shot out from the cage. After what must have been around an hour, Ado started her speech. Although it started in English, words didn't flow out, so she switched to Japanese and kept on talking and talking and talking. She spoke about her dreams, the sights she currently beheld, and her first time in Amsterdam. How when she was just a teenager, she would sing inside her closets for hours and hours on end, and her mother would come in and tell her that she was being noisy. During this, the massive screen behind her emitted a deep blue, portraying the blue of a screen that's on but on standby, just like how her PC would look while she was practicing her music. How that, despite her humble beginnings, this girl was able to grow to having sold-out concerts around the world. Her dream had come true, uniting people through music. She said she would never forget the sights she currently had, and how she hoped that the people who came to her concert wouldn't forget it either. How she is alone, and how other people might also feel alone, and continue following our wishes and make our dreams come true. How they may light up like a spark. She happily told us that she visited a Miffy store because she loves Miffy, and since the concert coincided with the Amsterdam 750th anniversary, she even wished happiness on that. She was also talking about how she would like to come back to the Netherlands one day, and really take her time to explore the country, which I found so endearing. Sharing cultures is just amazing. People sharing love is amazing. In Ado's words from the official Instagram, the Amsterdam show is now over, surrounded by a beautiful city and stylish people. Even my performance felt a little different from usual. One day I'd love to visit that place full of tulips. I definitely want to come back. I know she must say something along these lines for every performance, but it's just so amazing seeing this person I look up to so much like my country. And I do really hope that she will come back to the Netherlands one day and that I get to experience her performance live again. In the meantime, I will cherish the memories that I made at the concert this time. There was a surprise song of Chandelier from Sia, which was wild and unexpected. But it's really amazing to see her branch into English more and improve so rapidly. English is still so new to her, and yet she performed an entire song of it in front of a major audience. With an encore of New Genesis, the show was brought to an end. Another successful night. I may not know her personally, and yes, it's very parasocial, but I'm just so happy for her that she's grown so much, and I can't imagine how unbelievable it must feel to have these sold-out concerts around the world. But more importantly, to see all those people who share a love for her music so openly and directly. I'm excited to see what she will do in the future. I think she's really contributing to bringing Japanese music more widespread around the world. After the show, everyone made their way outside, but before that I was able to get this photo taken at the promotional poster. I even got a Nihongo Jose while in line. And so the amazing concert had truly come to an end, and it was time to go home. The show was over, but unforgettable memories were made. I will never forget her amazing voice, seeing her on the stage surrounded by thousands of lights. I quickly doodled this photo that I was taking at the concert as well. The lighting was a very strong blue, so I messed it up with the colors. However, this made me make my skin a very nice, vibrant pink, and the other colors were all dark purples and blues. Since yellow is the opposite of those on the color wheel, I added a square in the background for some contrast. The face was a bit of a struggle, but I ultimately went back to the dot eyes. For the shirt, which is the official Hibana shirt, I redrew the Hibana drawing in simplified shapes and the same colors as the rest of the drawings, and then added it to the shorts. I'm a little bit sad that she didn't play most of my favorite songs like Motherland, Ibara, Himawari, Unravel, Dignity, or even Sakura Biori, To Time Machine, Atashi wa Mondai Satsu, or Eien no Akurihi. Even though they were in the Hibana playlist that I found on Spotify, I'm definitely not as familiar with her newer songs, and so there were definitely a couple ones I just didn't know at all and I couldn't sing along with it, but overall it was still incredible, of course. Especially Elf was just splendid to hear live. Since I was seated so much to the side, despite being able to see her arms go up and down a lot and her walking around as well, I wasn't able to see her silhouette like you could from the front. These are definitely things that I will keep in mind if I ever have the opportunity to go again to another one of her shows. But among my favorites for the show were definitely Gira Gira, Aishite Aishite Aishite, and Gyakko. Just unforgettable. Thank you so much for watching. If you got to go to the concert as well, be sure to tell me what your favorite part was in the comments. May we all come together to appreciate Ado. Bye bye, happy sketching, and world domination.